Hi there guys, welcome back to Boxpred. In this video I'm going to take a look at a fight that's happening on the undercard of the Robert Guerrero vs Selçuk Aydin fight in San Jose, California on the 28th of July. It sees George Groves travelling over there from the UK to take on Francisco Sierra. First thing to bear in mind is that this is an 8-rounder, so there's no time for slow starts. Also, this is an away fight effectively for George Groves. He's going to be travelling over there, and although Sierra is from Mexico, I'm expecting him to get some form of support, possibly more than Groves gets. Now, Sierra's one of those tricky fighters, these tricky customers who you can never write off and you cannot overlook. He's one of those guys that you really have to be careful with, because he can spoil a party. He can surprise us. We've seen it in the past. Most notably, he defeated then unbeaten prospect Don George, and that was a bit of a shock to people. So he's that type of guy. He can come to spoil the party. George Groves is currently unbeaten. He's had 14 fights with 11 knockouts. He's talented and he's a prospect here in the UK. But he has to be careful in this one. Now, looking at George Groves, he has movement and speed on his side in this one. He's got better footwork. He's just the more mobile fighter. Okay, he's probably he is the better boxer. Technically, I believe. In this one, it's imperative he gets a quick start. I've said it's an 8-rounder. There's no time for him to have a sluggish start. He's got to go bang from the off. He's got to start looking busy. Okay, he needs to show the judges early on that he's in control of the fight. He can't afford to just go out sluggish, try and wait and see what this guy's got. He's got to just go out and start looking busy. He needs to use the jab in this fight to maintain that distance, and he needs to follow it up with some combinations when he feels confident. But to start off with, I want to see that jab out there constantly. I want to see it pumping. I want to see him looking busy right from the start. Adam Booth, who I've criticised in the past, but I've kind of grown to respect a lot more as a trainer. He's a student of the game. He'll have been looking at this guy, and he will have been got the game plan down. And George Groves needs to stick with that game plan. And I'm sure if he sticks to the game plan, he should come through with a victory. I don't want to see George Groves going out and looking for the KO. Even if he gets on top of the fight, I don't want to see him going in there getting close and wild. I want to see him box. Just box. Just keep the jab going. Keep the jab throughout the whole fight. Set up your other punches with the jab. Yeah? I want to see movement, lateral movement. I want to see movement to control distance. I want to see him using his abilities that we've seen against, for the likes of his performance against James DeGale. I want to see that type of movement around the ring, making the guy chase, making the guy miss, yeah, and punishing him. And overall, like I mentioned, look busy. He needs to respect this guy. This guy has power, as does George Groves. Groves has power. If he doesn't go looking for the knockout, if he just lets it naturally happen, he can get the stoppage in this one. But he mustn't go looking for it. He needs to respect this guy's power, respect that this guy can turn things on one punch, and he needs to just keep boxing clever. Let's look quickly at Sierra. Like I said, he can cause the upset, he can cause the surprise. He has some ability. He has 5 losses, I believe, on his record, but don't let it fool you. He's the type of guy you can never really underestimate. You just got to be on top of your game and have your wits about you for the whole fight. Sierra has power, like Groves. Both of these guys have some power in their tank, around 70% knockout ratios. But Sierra's flat-footed. He's not got the best footwork. He's going to be the slower fighter, the less mobile fighter in this fight, I'm fully expecting. And yeah, you can see where he moves. He's quite plodding. When he moves back, he moves quite back onto his heels. He's very flat-footed, and he's a bit wild. He'll suddenly he'll keep form, and he'll suddenly just lunge in, just out of nowhere. And with that element, you have that element of surprise and risk about his fighting, which can work to his advantage and surprise his opponent and really cause all sorts of chaos in the ring, or it can be very detrimental to him. because it leaves him very open, and he's extremely open to counter punches. So, you know, George Groves needs to be patient, wait for that lunge, and then punish the guy with counter punches, because we've seen George Groves do it. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I want to keep this relatively brief. I'm going to predict that George Groves wins this by decision over 8 rounds. He can get the stoppage, but he needs to be careful himself. I think he should win a decision if it goes the distance. I prefer him over Sierra because I think he's the more mobile and busier guy, so I think he should get ahead on the cards regardless, as long as he looks relatively busy. But in terms of a stoppage, you know, he's got to be careful because that could go either way. So Sierra, in terms of Sierra's game plan, needs to try and just do what he normally does, I guess, and just hope for the best. But I think Groves takes this by decision. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think. And this is Box Spread. I'm out.